Now, the news. Chiappa is back in the news this week with a type of handgun that you just don't see very often. It's a 10 mil version of their Rhino revolver. Now, for those of you that aren't aware, the Chiappa Rhino is one of the most unique revolvers out there because instead of firing from the top of the cylinder and going straight out the barrel, it fires from the bottom of the cylinder and has a taller barrel setup. You can actually see that here. The barrel is down here, not up here. It's firing from the bottom of the cylinder. That means the barrel is lower in the gun, and therefore the recoil impulse is directed lower into your hand, and it feels totally different than any other revolver that I've ever shot. This new 10 mil version will come in 4 flavors. We have the 3-inch barrel, nickel-plated version with a what appears to be rubberized grip. Then we have the 6-inch black anodized version with the regular walnut grips. These are single or double action guns in both of those versions, and then there are 2 other versions that look identical but are single action only versions. MSRP there is $14.20 for the long barrel guns and $14.05 for the short boys. For reference, the Smith & Wesson revolvers in 10 mil range in MSRP from $1160 up to $1200. So these Chiappas are a bit more expensive. I'd love to hear what you guys think down in the comments. Are 10 mil revolvers worth it, or should people just stick to 357 or 44? What do you think? Welcome back to another episode of the Gun Collective News. I'm John Patton. If you are interested in winning this case of stuff, all the stuff that's inside of that plus the case, text the word GUNCON to 484-648-8774 to get entered to win this case and everything inside it. It's worth a bunch of money. I'll announce that winner at the end of July. Be sure to get subscribed so you can see who wins. Oh, and before I forget, I've got something very cool to share with you guys. My friends at Southington Hunt Club asked me to share this with you. That's where we had the GunCon Media Range Day sponsored by First Form. That was incredible. However, this is pretty cool too. It's the Ohio State Multi-Gun Championship, and this is a charity match with over $20,000 in stuff that you can win with your own efforts. There's a whole bunch of brands involved. Stages that are hard, that are out to 700 yards. They're challenging. This is going to be an incredible match at a really, really cool range, and I think you guys are really going to enjoy it. So if you're into competition shooting and you want to try your hand at multi-gun, or you're very experienced, it doesn't matter. Go out to this match. There will be a link in the description. And for the record, all the proceeds from this match will go to support Dogs for Our Brave, which is all about getting service dogs to wounded veterans, which is amazing because those dogs are very, very expensive, upwards of like $30,000 in some instances. I mean, just bonkers how much they cost. And a lot of these folks need them and can't quite afford them, so we need to support that. And if you go to the link in the description, you can learn all about it. Go check it out. Again, that's at Garrettsville, Ohio, at Southington Hunt Club. It's the Ohio State Multi-Gun Championship. I would appreciate it if you guys would go get signed up for that. Okay, on to the next thing. In the news this week is some more stuff from Smith & Wesson. We just talked about them. Here they are. It's a new version of the Bodyguard 2.0. This is a tuned up version of it because it's the Performance Center Carry Comp version. Long story shorter, the barrel is extended from 2.75 to 3.1 inches, and of course the slide is elongated to match, along with making the serrations a touch smaller, which is weird. I thought the serrations were good as they were. They've got a few new lightning holes up front.
Oh yeah, speed hole.
And it's got a little bitty compensator cut into the nose. The sights are from Ameriglow and the back is blacked out while the front is a night sight. MSRP on this one is $90 more than the standard model at $549 for the new one. You know, I was really excited about the new Bodyguard as a whole. I was. But I've been having issues with 2 different guns. We have one with and without a manual safety, and with multiple experienced shooters, multiple types of ammo, we just can't get them to shoot well. And that's after being sent back to Smith & Wesson and being told the guns were fine. My understanding is that some other folks out there may be having similar issues. And if you are, sound off in the comments. It's a disappointment, really. I wanted to love this thing, but it's just not working great for us. We actually scrapped the review entirely. I gave up on it because it's just a waste of ammo at this point. So hopefully they figure out what's going on and get it sorted out, or maybe these new ones are not that bad? I don't know. Springfield Armory is back in the news with an 8.5-inch version of their St. Victor pistol. It's a 9mm PCC using an SBA-3 brace out back and Colt mags. MSRP is $1,100. I know a bunch of you guys will revolt against the pricing because it's a direct blowback gun, so have at it in the comments. It's probably not a terrible gun, I guess. Just maybe a little bit more expensive than what some of you guys want. And in other PCC news, Palmetto State Armory just launched the Saber version of their ARV. If you didn't know, the Saber line is basically the churched up, fancier version of their normal guns. The biggest fancy thing with this one is that they've added the RDB, or roller delayed buffer system, from Maxim Defense. This, according to Maxim, can make your standard PCC act like a roller delayed gun. There's a ball bearing setup in the buffer system that allows this to happen. It's kind of neat. It's a neat idea. Out back, you have the SBA-4 brace in baby poop brown, the matching B5 grip, a mud-colored receiver set that is a little fancier than the normal ARV, the 8.5-inch barrel, and it also has Radian ambi controls, you know, the safety and the charging handle, and then it's got a 2-stage trigger. And the MSRP is $1,200. So for $100 more than the Springfield, you get a good bit more value, it seems. I love the fact that there's this sort of gold rush to make roller delayed PCCs affordable. We're watching it happen in real time, and I'm sure you guys love it too. We have another new gun for you this week, and it's from CZ. They have a comped version of the P10C. So basically you have a normal P10C with a 4-inch barrel that has a now slightly heavier barrel because it's cold hammer forged, 10%, woo! And it also has raised sights from the P09 Nocturne, and still the same 15-round mags and optic cut from before, and it just has a big old chunk port in the nose. And the best part is the MSRP of $550. That's really good value. I've heard nothing but good things about the P10 series of guns, and this being priced that way for a comped gun that's just outstanding. I would love to hear from you guys on this. Are comped and ported guns something you're looking to add to your collection, or are they just a way to make things louder, dirtier, maybe not as reliable? I don't know. Sound off below, and while you're doing that, let's hear from this week's sponsor, XS Sights. I've been wanting to work with a company like XS for a long time. They offer sighting solutions for all kinds of brands out there, and a bunch of them are meant to be fast while keeping you accurate. For example, I got these 3-dot sights on the Desert Eagle, the Co-Witness style on the Masada Slim, and another more different set on this VP9 build. And since you watch TGC, they set you guys up with a big discount. If you use our code TGC at xssights.com, you'll save 20%. That's massive. Big thanks to XS Sights for sponsoring this week's video. Let's keep it rolling with this week's Friendly Fire question. If you want to ask me a question, slam it down in the comments with the words Friendly Fire so that I can go back and find it. That's how this works. You guys are great at it. I appreciate you. We've got a few this week, as we normally do. First is from Tattooed Mexican, and he says, any luck acquiring a Mac 9 DS comp for review? Like this one? Just like this one? It just came in the other day. The review process will start soon, so get ready for that. NMR says, will you cover more Sporting Clays shotguns? I mean, I try to cover them when I see that they're new and they're coming out. I'm a big Sporting Clays fan myself. I think it's one of the most fun things you can do with a gun. So it's close to my heart. I just don't think people would want to see a review on a shotgun like that. It's a niche thing. I don't know. I'll cover them on the news for sure. And Brian Blocher is wondering if optic manufacturers have caliber ratings to help their customers pick the appropriate optic. And they don't list that. You don't see it because it's kind of assumed that they can just handle substantial recoil and that it won't matter. The only exceptions are optics with drop reticles in them or ones that are made for air guns. Air guns actually have a recoil impulse that can destroy some optics, or the SCAR rifles have a habit of messing with optics as well. So that's the thing. Otherwise, you should be fine as long as you buy a decent quality optic. I actually remember back when I toured the Loophole facility and they were doing some quality testing in another room, and it sounded like an earthquake inside the building. I watched what was happening. I'm not going to repeat it. I don't know if I signed an NDA on what they actually do, but they beat the snot out of those things to make sure that you never have issues with recoil. That was a really neat experience. My friendly fire question to you guys this week: what do you think is the biggest thing holding back gun rights in the United States? That could get spicy in the comments. What do you think is the biggest thing holding it back? Sound off in the comments with your thoughts. In gun industry news, FN America, the SCAR, we're just segue after segue this week. FN America has been awarded another contract from the U.S. Army. This time it's for the M240L medium machine gun, and it's to the tune of $4.9 million, so maybe like 2 guns, I guess. This is a lightweight version of the M240 Bravo by about 18%, and that is meant to offset or balance the weight of the balls FN has charging $5,000 for the FN SCAR. In other industry news, the background check numbers are in for June 2025, and they were the lowest we've seen for June since 2018. And as per usual, this is not a 1-to-1 ratio for guns sold for several reasons, but rather it's a trend indicator. At this point in the year, we're at 11.7 million checks total. And that could mean if we don't see a substantial uptick in sales, the year could end several million checks down from last year. That's a problem for the gun industry as a whole. While we're still averaging over 2 million checks per month, as companies have grown to deal with the rise in sales over the last few years, they're now going to have to start thinking about how to pull back on staffing, infrastructure, machines, all that kind of stuff if they're not careful and if they didn't set themselves up well for this. Only time will tell, but I don't know about you, I can hear that struggle bus warming up its engine.